Oh, hello. Welcome to Edge Files. How's everybody doing tonight?
Whoop, whoop.
Fantastic.
Not like there's anything interesting going on that happened right before we went live.
No. Nothing at all.
No. Folks, please, everybody, welcome the man who won over Keanu Thompson, Mr. Trucker Andy.
She's easily fooled. Yeah, everybody check out. I switched my website to staysorry.com. So find everything that I have going on over there. Plugs at the top of the show. All in on the Dabbleverse on Thursdays at 7:30. And we did an episode about Shia LaBeouf's meltdown on Sunday with Nelly. So please check that out.
Whoop, whoop.
Awesome. And also with us, the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Miss Kaylee. How are you, Miss Kaylee?
I am so wonderful today. I'm
Whoop,
still reeling over everything that, Andy was just involved in. Heavily involved.
Yeah,
As much as Grant.
go. Yeah, right. Grant was in the mix for that made it extra special. But go find WATP Point Dabble Point on Rumble if you want to know what's going on.
To be fair, he was in the mix for about 12 minutes.
But he went all the way to Allentown, so he earned it.
He did. Andy gave his plugs at the beginning. Why don't you plug your stuff, Kaylee?
I think that everybody knows that I do that over on my Patreon, Once Over with Kaylee, Cayley.
Nice.
Also YouTube, Once Over with Kaylee, Cayley. Go check out my stuff, movie reviews, a little bit of Dabbleverse stuff here and there. Of course, the Edge Files, and a brand new syndicated terrestrial radio show with the wonderful Christian Blatt and Eric Nagel from It's Eric Nagel that you can check out on radio. And you can find out more info about that on Twitter at a Twitter handle that I don't remember right now.
I was going to say,
I'm
what's the
doing
name of this
great.
show?
I'm doing so good. Right. Listen, I'm still thinking about Keanu.
Yeah.
It's called the Christian and Kaylee Show. Come on, we all know that.
It's not. It's absolutely not. No, it's called Is It Worth Watching? And it's a Worth Watch show on Twitter. That was where I got confused, was because it's a little different because Twitter has the character limit. I'm doing great. Let's always do plugs at the beginning of the show. I never embarrass myself when I do that. Hackmania.com, April 10th through the 12th, promo code Kaylee, Cayley for 10% off. There we go. I got one. Yeah.
Yay. All
Luigi,
right.
what about you? What do you got going on?
I got nothing. All right. Let's LuigiGreenberg.com, Skeptical Robot. We have a big announcement this Friday. Yes. And we are going to be going back to the well of VHS. What would you call it? VHS. What would you call what we did with Rent a Friend? Trucker Andy? What would you call that?
It was a watch along.
Oh, but what would you call the tape itself? It's more of like a VHS artifact. How about that? An artifact. We're going to back to the world of VHS artifacts, where we're going to now watch another self-help video called How to Meet Women.
Oh, I mean, I need that.
You are always welcome.
Okay. I had seen that the 2-part the doc that you guys just did for the last 2 weeks. That story about the guy hitting on the entire family. That was
God,
dark.
and whenever we go too dark, we always like to pull it back a little bit and do something a little silly. And so we thought this was a good opportunity. Kaylee, if you don't know, we covered a story about a con man who slept with the mother of a family, had a sexual encounter with the father of the family, and then kidnapped the 12-year-old daughter of the family. And
nobody told me that there would be boasting.
Yeah. It was one of the darkest and most grotesque stories we've ever covered. Literally, people were in our chat saying, I cannot keep watching this. But we're an educational show, just with the occasional dick and fart joke. which is how my my wonderful co-host Gummy Chainsaw described it on an episode of Pretty Antisocial last week, and I loved it. I was like, that's perfect. I love that. But tonight we're going to be talking about a case. I guess you could call this a true crime case. Officially, it's not a true crime case. Officially, it's solved. But it's very, very interesting. So let me ask you two, what do y'all know about a guy named George Reeves?
Original Superman.
Okay.
The
okay.
black and white Superman.
Yeah. I was corrected today in that he is not the first Superman.
Oh.
Because
did a nerd on the internet tell you that?
No. I don't want to call him a nerd because he's a big fan.
Gummy Chainsaw, we know.
It was Kendo. Kendo said he was actually not the first. He was only the first in television and movies, which he is correct. There was a serial out of another guy, but yes, he is the first in television and movies. In the 1950s, he was the star of The Adventures of Superman, which aired from 1952 to 1958. All right. So here's where the story is actually pretty fascinating. George Reeves, in 1959, has a gunshot wound to his head, and he's found in his bedroom. The LAPD at the time immediately within 8 days concludes that they have solved it and it is a suicide, that he held a gun to his head, to the side of his head, and pulled the trigger. However, very quickly, people did not believe the official story because there's a lot of inconsistencies with the crime scene. And then also, once you add in the context of his life at the time, there's a lot of people who might have had something to do with his death. It's a little cryptic, I get it, but that is what we're going to be talking about, is the circumstances and the inconsistencies of George Reeves' death. Now, let me ask you, y'all don't know anything about this case, this suicide case?
I don't.
I think that I might know some of the details of this, but they feel very hazy. So I'm looking forward to a refresher.
Well, I promise you that I am going to probably, even if you do know it, there are a few things that kind of slip under the radar that aren't well known. So I still might throw something out at you. Now, this story was fictionalized in a movie called Hollywoodland, where Ben Affleck played George Reeves. And the story, for the most part, accurately tells conspiracy theories that have developed. So the movie itself isn't exactly true, but the conspiracy theories that it proposes to the audiences are kind of what we're going to be talking about, which are the really interesting part.
Best role, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Gotta be.
Actually, you know what I'm going to say? I recently watched the movie The Rip with him and Matt Damon. That movie was way better than I thought it could be. Like, it had no business being that good. All right, just throwing that out there because I typically hate Ben Affleck, but I will say he's a great director. Gone Baby Gone is still one of my favorite movies. Anyway, all right, so let's. I feel like this is going to be an episode where we're going to be doing a lot of talking because it's very dense and there's a lot of story. But let me give you just a quick overview, okay? So, when he is found dead, the date is June 16th, 1959. He has been playing Superman for over 6 years, from 1952 to 1958. It has recently been canceled, but is also in negotiations to possibly come back. Now, when he's found in his home, he is entertaining guests. There are 4 people in his home who are awake and drinking. It is 1:30 in the morning, and one of those people is his fiancée. So,
Was
These
one
are
of them
all
also Christopher Walken, or was that just Natalie Wood? And I'm mixing up stories here.
one of them was Matt Damon, actually. So we're going to get to why they're there, who they are. We're going to get to all of that. But I do feel like some of this just kind of I need to kind of predispose you to some of the things we're going to see. Now,
You're setting the scene.
Exactly. Now, keep in mind again, the official story is that he committed suicide. But let's start off with talking about some of the inconsistencies or just things that didn't make a lot of sense with the crime scene. And then we'll get into the details, okay?
Yeah.
So here are a couple of things that were odd about the crime scene. One, there were no fingerprints on the gun. And he is found naked on his bed with the gun between his legs as he is like he has his feet over the bed, like his knees bent, like as if he was sitting on the bed and he fell backward. Okay. No fingerprints on the gun, no gunpowder residue on his hands, which there might be kind of an explanation for that. We'll get to that later. The bullet that killed
Wait.
Reeves.
Did they check his penis for gunpowder residue?
If
he was naked?
You think his penis pulled the trigger?
I'm just saying. I've seen impressive things with dicks before.
Yeah. How do you prepare, Luigi?
Yeah.
That's what everybody.
You know what would be funny is they walk in and he's got just a full-on boner because he's laying on his back.
Yeah.
They're like, oh boy, all right. Everybody avert your eyes.
Rigor mortis, indeed.
The bullet that supposedly, went through his head from basically one ear to the other ear, the middle of his head, was found in the ceiling. Okay.
Yeah. Defies
All right.
physics, but okay.
But these are some of the things, and we're going to go into some of the details. And then the spent shell casing that was spent from the gun was found under his body. Okay. So he is on his back, feet on the ground. The shell casing, they had to roll him over to find the shell casing underneath him.
Yeah.
Yes, it's weird. And again, the bullet is in the ceiling. All right. Now, get this. There's no gunpowder residue on his face either. So some people have devised that meant that he was shot from a distance as opposed to having the gun directly pressed up against his head.
So here's the question about that. Back when this happened, you said what year was this? 1959?
1959.
Okay, so in 1959, that might have been a little bit harder for us to deduce. Obviously, now we have much better technology. I assume that people have reinvestigated this case since 1959. Do we have better technology to be able to determine information like that?
I think we have better technology, but not for this case because it's still unresolved, at least from the conspiratorial standpoint. Again, LAPD immediately declared suicide, and that's officially how the case closed.
Now, were the other people that were attending this cocktail party cops? Is this like a Karen Reed thing?
No. Good one, though. However, there might be some suspicion amongst his guests.
Rich and famous guests.
Maybe. We'll get to that.
Okay.
All right. Now, here is one of the major plot points about one of the major inconsistencies that becomes a major plot point of the conspiracy theories is that in addition to the bullet that is in the ceiling, there are also two additional bullets found in the floor.
Test shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Failed attempt.
So this is a weird one, but and again, so all of the witnesses agreed that they only heard one gunshot and that there was no sign of forced entry or other physical evidence that a second person was ever in the room with him while they were drinking and carrying on. Okay, so I feel like that sets the stage for the video package that I have prepared for us. It's going to go deeper into the details from there. So,
All right,
any questions before we get started?
How big was his penis?
I hear, if you have to imagine Superman's penis, it's pretty girthy.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That answers everything. I'm gonna play this package. Luigi, you're gonna take control from here of the package.
Yeah, but do you want to read? Well, I see we have a couple of super chats. Yes,
Sure.
you take full control of my package.
I'm going to have one of you guys read these because my glasses are not on today.
Woody from Syracuse for 5. Hey, Kaylee, thank God you didn't go to Allentown. SJ said he might have had COVID. By the way, I'll get in touch with you soon. I know you've been busy.
I have been, and
Sounds like a threat.
I was sick anyway. So
Donna G for 19. Way to go, Kendo. Love this nerd community. I don't know what nerd you're referring to, but
the nerdiness of knowing who Superman is.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I did not give it the absolute best detailed introduction by saying he was the first one in television and movies. I apologize.
Dummy.
Daddy Poopy for 2. Thanks for the 2. Edge Files, indeed. Slower and softer tone Luigi.
Yes, agreed.
I was reading.
Yeah. Hit the like button for
Yes,
edging.
please hit the like button.
All right, let's get this started. And Luigi, you're going to take control.
It. You got it.
It's June 16th, 1959. Hollywood wakes up to shocking news. George Reeves, TV's Superman, is dead. Just 45 years old, found in his bedroom with a bullet in his head. The official word? Suicide. But from the start, things don't add up. It's a Monday night. George and his fiancée, Lenore Lemon, go...
Okay, so I got to stop it here just because there's going to be a lot of names thrown out. And so I just kind of want to stop it to get this in everyone's brain. Lenore Lemon is George's fiancée. Fiancée of less than 6 months, or I should even just say his companion for less than 6 months. They have been dating for less than 6 months, and she is his fiancée. All right. And one other interesting part of this is that this is June 16th. They had planned to get married on June 19th.
What a tragedy. Who's going to pay the caterer?
Interesting story. You know what's funny? That actually kind of does play an element in the story. You'll see.
It just looks like an episode of 30 Rock now. That looks like Alec Baldwin on the left and
it does,
Lemon
doesn't
on
it?
the right. Yeah.
She has a real sourpuss face. All right.
Dinner and drinks. Lots of drinks. That's not unusual, especially for Lenore. She's 10 years younger, a wild party girl by all accounts. They get home around 11. Their house guest, a New York TV writer named Robert Condon, is there.
Okay, so they've come home after dinner and drinks, and I think that this narrator was suggesting that Lenore was some sort of floozy by saying she apparently loves to drink. I also hear she likes to fight. That is going to be part of the story. But anyway, they have a house guest who did not go to dinner with them. His name is Robert Condon, friend of Lenore's. And he was there while they left, and he is there when they come back home.
Robert and Lenore are both New Yorkers, old friends. Around midnight, George tells them he's going to bed and heads upstairs. Then, about an hour later, the doorbell rings. It's George's neighbor, Carol Van Ronkel, and she's not alone. She brings a friend, another neighbor, William Bliss.
Okay, so supposedly this was a thing in the 50s that when you leave your light on, you're inviting people to stop by. This is how it was described in something I read. Sounds a little crazy, but for whatever reason, we don't really know the details. A neighbor named Carol Van Ronkel decides to stop by after 11 o'clock at night. It's now around midnight.
But you have to like keep in mind that there's this, like before text messaging and
yes,
like, a lot of convenience things. People just leave the light on so that you know that they're still up, or
you are
throwing an
absolutely
orgy,
right.
whatever.
It might have even been a phone call. We don't know, but it just seems odd that on a Monday night, a bunch of middle-aged people are getting together to drink at midnight. So Carol, the neighbor, comes over, but she brings William Bliss. Now it's labeled there as a neighbor because he's with Carol. But the truth is, no one knows who William Bliss is other than Carol. She just brings along her friend. George has never met William Bliss before in his life.
He sounds delightful.
It becomes an element of this story. So here we go.
She and William saw the lights on and came over to have a few drinks and keep the party going. George is not amused. He storms back downstairs, angry, yells at everyone to knock it off and go home. Then
I apologize for some of the effects. I should have warned everyone. I remembered that I first learned about this from an old Unsolved Mysteries episode, and I went looking for the footage, and I was like, oh, I'll bet that'd be good footage for this. And so I found it, but when I ran it through YouTube, it got copyright struck, so I had to throw in a few things to kind of dilute the picture. But this is,
Smart.
footage from Unsolved Mysteries, but this is detailing the story. They're all partying. There's 4 people downstairs being loud and obnoxious, and George comes down and says, knock that shit off. I'm trying to sleep.
stomps back upstairs. Lenore makes a comment, a bizarre one. She says, well, he'll probably shoot himself. A second later, they hear a drawer open upstairs. The house is small and the walls are thin. This isn't some mansion. Lenore speaks again. He's getting the gun out now. Then, bang, a shot. Lenore says, see there? I told you.
Are we following along with what's going on there?
She is a fortune teller.
Maybe.
She knows the future.
She definitely
Possibly.
knows.
But supposedly everyone testifies that she basically was calling him a baby. Saying, oh, baby's upset. Now he's going to go into his room and kill himself. And then boom. So everyone apparently says that this happened. Everyone, all 4 people say that she says he's going to go upstairs and kill himself. Now, I read a few unverified reports that say that the reason she did that was because he had been threatening to kill himself, and she was being a bitch and was rubbing it in his face and trying to embarrass him. It's like, oh, he's been saying he's going to shoot himself. Oh, he's going to go shoot himself. Oh, you're going to go shoot yourself. You're going to cry. You're going to cry in your big pillow.
We're all sick of hearing about it. Just do it already.
Just do it already. Now, unfortunately, that story cannot be verified, and the other witnesses do not say that happened, but they say that she did predict, or if you want to call it predict, that he was going to go shoot himself, and then they hear him do it. All right. So then we have the crime scene.
William races upstairs and finds George dead, naked, lying on the bed, a German Luger pistol on the floor. At least that's the version the cops got from 4 very drunk witnesses in quick, surface-level interviews before they all went their separate ways.
Reeves was found naked, lying on the blood-soaked bed with his feet on the ground. He had been shot in the right temple. A bullet casing was found under his body, and a 9mm German Luger was on the ground between his feet.
That is not at all where I imagined the gun.
That seems odd, right? Seems like an odd place for the gun to be.
You described it. I thought it was like right next to his PP.
Oh, okay. I should have said between his
I might have been a little
feet.
distracted by the naked thing.
I think he had penis on the brain.
Yeah, that might have been my problem. All right. I'm back in. I got the scene now.
Here we go. Yes.
Blood splatter traveled all the way to the ceiling, where the bullet was lodged.
When they asked Lenore, how did you know he was about to shoot himself? She shrugged, called it intuition. And that wasn't the only strange thing. There are no fingerprints on the gun, none, and no gunpowder on George's hands. So how did he pull the trigger? And what about the bruises on his face and chest?
Now, that is an interesting part, just for the sake of time and trying to compress this story, that after they take him and they do an autopsy, George Reeves's mom was so unconvinced that he had the capability of killing himself, she hires a private investigator who has a second autopsy done, and they find bruising on the body that had not been reported on the original report. That's what he's talking about. And that's another element that was just kind of inconsistent. Apparently it was so prevalent that this private investigator did not understand why it wasn't on the original report. So throwing that in there. Here we go. Now it's going to get a little complicated.
Where did those come from? Then there's the bullet count. Everyone downstairs swears they heard one shot, just one. But investigators find 3 bullet holes, 2 lodged in the floor, and the fatal one is buried in the ceiling right above the bed. They also find a shell casing under George's body, which doesn't line up with normal ballistics. Then there's the body. No note, no history of depression, no warning signs, and George is completely naked. Strange, considering he wasn't known to sleep that way.
So these are all things that come to light during the investigation, that George is not known to sleep naked. We don't know why he is. Why
it would be
are
weirder
there...
to sleep naked. Even if you were known to sleep naked, I'm not sleeping naked when there are 4 people in my house.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. But also, we're going to come to it, but you bring it up now. We might as well bring it up now. Between the, they say, the very short amount of time of him marching up the stairs, was he naked when he came down the stairs? Because that would be something they would definitely remember, but was not included in any of their reports.
They were very drunk.
That's true.
Yeah. He's boning down naked. He's known to have an orgy naked, and somebody this party was kinky. It's like
He was hoping.
Bob Crane style, like gunplay in the bedroom.
He was prepared. He's like, look, you never know. You never know when you need to be ready for an orgy.
Yeah. Superman and I have all of this in common. You know, it's like my kryptonite is bullets as well.
So there's a lot there, which is there's 2 bullet holes in the floor, 1 in the ceiling, blood splatter on the ceiling, no prints on the gun, and a bullet underneath him. And again,
Now,
he's naked.
we might be getting to this at some point. Does the lovely Lenore try to explain away the 2 bullet points and bullet
What a wonderful
holes
question.
in the
What a
floor?
wonderful question. That is literally the next couple of seconds.
Okay,
Here we
because
go.
if I was gonna murk my husband, I would be like, yeah, that was from when he tried to do that before, but failed.
That's
Right?
that's a better answer than she gives.
Oh boy.
Even stranger for someone allegedly planning to end his life. Despite all that, police call it a suicide, case closed. No further investigation, no charges, and no answers. So if George didn't pull the trigger, who did?
I thought it was the next. I thought it was the next part. I was wrong. Okay, so we will get to it eventually, but I just want to answer your question up front. They do ask her, "What are those 2 other bullet holes?" And her answer is, "I was just messing around."
Oh, she's stupid.
I'm bad at loading a gun.
That is her answer. And why there wasn't a follow-up question to what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. But she's quoted as, I think I got that right. We will get to it. It is part of this package. But yeah, she gives this vague, dumb answer of, I somehow accidentally shot the floor, but that's all the details I'm going to give.
I gotta quote the great Keanu here. And on International Women's Day, how could you be saying things like this?
That did make me laugh.
It's a clear-cut case of a loser of strip poker dovetailing into losing at Russian roulette. It's cut and dry, Detective Johnson. Case closed.
Oh, and also I didn't mention this part is that by the police accounts, after the autopsy, they believe that there was a 45-minute gap between him shooting himself and them calling the police.
Well, they were drinking.
Just throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we really got it. I think I might have stopped right over it. But after he shoots himself, what they testify to is that William Bliss, the stranger, is the one who runs up the stairs to check on George Reeves, and apparently is the one who was brave enough to go up there while everyone else stayed downstairs and said, "What happened?"
Yeah.
And the
Lemon's
stranger,
like, it's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine. This happens all the time.
he just wants attention.
He's just playing with his pet gun again. He just got it. He just got
Pet
that
gun.
Luger. He wants to fucking play with it.
Well, George was a gun collector, so we're going to learn a little bit about that. But here are the theories about suicide, because supposedly more than one person testified that he was, despite what that narrator said, there's basically a split camp where some people apparently testified that he was showing signs of depression while other people said he was not. But the people who said that he was showing signs of depression say that he had really hit a standstill with his career after Superman got canceled, and that he was so typecast that he was having trouble finding work as an actor, because at the time, people just didn't want to give him a chance because they only saw Superman. And also at the time, TV was not what it is today, and it was actually considered to be less successful and less popular, and it paid less. So while he was making $2,500 a week, he only filmed. Shit, I forgot the numbers here. He was making $2,500 a week and only filmed, I believe, like 20 episodes a year. So,
that's like the opposite of the Three Stooges scenario, where they just kept telling them that they weren't worth anything and working them to death. And
yeah,
they just believed it.
Supposedly every episode took.
Am I right?
Supposedly every episode took a week, and he had a very, very stable income, but not enough for the entire year. Just those 20 weeks of the year, something like that. But
is
he just
he
wasn't
like doing appearances as Superman? Because that's how you get money.
Yes, that is another big thing we are going to talk about, where he actually did do pro wrestling events dressed as Superman. He made private quasi-private appearances as Superman, and he also did commercials as Superman. He did cameos on other shows as Superman to earn a little extra cash. And supposedly,
shockingly typecast.
Yes,
him and Urkel.
And Jim Varney.
Yeah.
And supposedly he had plans at this time. So the people who were saying that he wasn't demonstrating any depression, supposedly he was continuing his appearances as Superman as a steady flow of cash, and also had a few directing jobs possibly that were going to pan out in the future. So people were saying, that doesn't make any sense to say that he was depressed about his career, because he was still making money, even though it wasn't great money. So let's hear a little bit about this suicide theory before we get into the real sexy stuff, the possible murder theories.
According to E.J. Fleming, author of the book The Fixers, which in part details the circumstances around George's death, there were also several incongruities with the way in which the body was found. Reeves was totally naked, meaning he'd either had to have been naked when he went downstairs, a detail that the guests likely would have remembered, or between returning to his bedroom.
Could you imagine, though, a cop saying, okay, so he came down, told you all to shut up. Yeah. Was he naked? Oh, yeah, I forgot. He was totally naked. Does seem like something that would be really kind of up front.
Be the first thing that came up.
Yeah. So
Room and shooting himself, he would have had to strip to the nude, an uncommon occurrence in suicides. The location of the body, bullet, gun, and shell casing relative to one another are also somewhat suspicious. Fleming argues that George most likely would have fallen forward, not backwards onto the bed.
So that's a very interesting thing. And of course, this is all theoretical. We don't know that this is an absolute science, but supposedly based on how he was sitting and, the bed, basically the physics would be that his butt would have been a little further down and that the gravity would have taken his head forward as opposed to backward, which I have to say makes sense.
The thing that makes the least sense is that he was shot in the temple, but the bullet's in the ceiling. So that means you would be laying down like this on the bed with the gun underneath your head.
We are going to get into that, but go ahead.
I think I can play devil's advocate here, right?
Please.
You're nervous because you're scared to do what you're about to do because you know that you're going to prove Lenore correct on International Women's Day. It's going to be very embarrassing for you posthumously.
In front of all her friends.
In front of all of her friends, you're butt ass naked. People are talking about your penis, 70 years later on the internet. But
all I talk about.
You're nervous. You're going like this. This is the position that you're in. You're going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Maybe rocking back and forth. That can both cause the fall backward and the bullet in the ceiling. Boom, done, solved,
Possibly.
Mystery solved.
Case
Possibly. We are going to hear from someone who actually pretty much believes that. Yeah. That same theory and shows it.
Because duh.
I'm demonstrating it right now.
Yeah.
For the bullet to make it to the ceiling, George's head would have had to have been nearly horizontal at the time of firing. For this to have been true, one would expect the gun to have been found either on George's side or still in his hand, not on the floor between his feet. Finally, the bullet casing would likely have been on the floor, not underneath the body, according to
that
Fleming.
part I can't explain.
Reeves is
Well,
That's a weird one.
I think I could though, because
Go for it.
Do it, Andy.
So I don't know the design of the Luger, so I don't know which way the bullet, ejects the case. But if you fire it and then it looks like it's up against the wall. So if it maybe like ejects out the side, it hits the wall and it ricochets off the wall and underneath him when he falls back.
Great observation. But let me stop you because we're actually going to have somebody show exactly the projection of the bullet casing.
Okay. I'm just spitballing now. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
What you're saying though is pretty much in line with what he says.
Yeah.
So
as far as like where the gun is, maybe your hand just like falls and it's a mattress. It just bounces and it bounces off of the bed into like a random place that it ends up at. Yeah. We all know about bouncing on beds.
Penis.
You do. All right, here we go.
His mother publicly contested the suicide theory, convinced her son would not have killed himself, and there were no reports of a suicide note. There are some reports that, before a full autopsy could take place, the body had already been embalmed, or at least washed, meaning traces of gunpowder that would have been on his hands or face had he fired the gun himself were long gone.
So we can't tell if the gun residue testing was actually inconclusive or if it was not done at all. So that becomes a gray area in our theories because we just don't know. So when they say there's no gun residue, it's kind of an asterisk by it by saying, well, it also might not have been tested for that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But
incompetence is relevant.
Yes, very much so. Also possibly corruption because this is 1959 Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Some reports also detail unexplained bruises on his body. And according to Fleming, George's trainer who had seen him earlier that day did not see any bruises on him.
That's the bruising I was talking about. And supposedly, George was a boxer and had been seen earlier that day training. And his trainer says, I never saw those bruises before. Odd. Just another little drop into the mystery bucket.
In addition to the one that had passed through George's brain, 2 other bullets from the same gun had been shot through the floor of the bedroom. When asked about these, Lemon claimed one was from an accident a few days prior when she was, quote, fooling around with...
Oh, fooling around. I'm sorry. I said messing around. Apologies.
Dumb bitch.
I know. I hope Kendo doesn't correct me on that one.
So many kinks.
But yes, fooling around.
the Luger. No explanation was ever given for the other bullet. Despite this,
No follow-up questions. Nothing. How insane is that?
It's 1959. Where's the money? Tell me where the money is, Luigi.
Mm.
All right, we're getting to it.
LA Police Chief William Parker told the press he believed the extra bullets were of no significance. Soon after George's death, Lemon left for New York, never to return to LA again.
She gets on a plane, goes to New York, never to return. Now, there's actually a few more details about that we're going to get to, but keep that in mind. So now, let's talk about
Starting with the one
suspects.
closest to his heart and maybe the most dangerous, Tony Mannix.
Now, this is a name we have not mentioned yet, but this might be the most important name of this entire story. Tony Mannix. Remember that name. Tony Mannix was the woman that George Reeves had been seeing for 8 years up until the 6 months before he died when he met Lenore.
Oh, jealous ex.
It even goes deeper and a little wackier.
Still the second worst Tony on this show. Tony from Hack the Movies in the chat. What's up, boss?
Tony Mannix was an ex-showgirl
Oh, hell yeah.
and ex-dancer. I forget what kind of dancing, but listen to how weird this gets.
George's
I like her.
longtime lover, older than him by 8 years, and married to Eddie Mannix.
Married to Eddie Mannix the entire time they had their affair of 8 years. But there's more.
Now, that name carries weight. Eddie isn't just anyone. He's a former bouncer turned powerful MGM exec. They call him the Fixer.
He is an executive of MGM Studios, one of the largest movie and television studios at the time, and a very powerful man. But also, guess what? He knew about the affair and encouraged it.
Cuck.
All the kinks.
George, Tony, and Eddie, and Eddie's girlfriend would go on annual vacations together.
Yeah.
Vacations.
Yep. Here we go.
He's the kind of guy who can make things happen and make scandals disappear.
Eddie
Not a
was
flattering
an
photo.
infamous fixer in Hollywood who built a career for himself solving, quote, problems for MGM co-founder and studio head Louis B. Mayer. Such problems ranged from gambling to the mob, from abortions to even rape and death.
Now let's put some context on what we're talking about there with those categories of things. So he was the guy that studios relied on when scandals would threaten the careers of their actors, or if there was some sort of scandal that affected money or someone's reputation. So let's
I got it. George Reeves had an abortion.
George, yes,
They're
It was
covering up his
delivered
abortion.
out of his ass. So Eddie Mannix was the guy that, let's say, for instance, one of their new starlets gets pregnant. He's the one who has to arrange the abortion. If one of their actors gets in trouble legally, he's the guy who has to pay off the cops. And essentially, his job could be, anything from smoothing over bad press to making sure that a certain story never gets printed in the newspaper. He could also just make sure people don't talk by paying them off, or maybe even roughing them up. So we also have to assume he had connections with the police and other powerful figures in LA because
Because of this job, Mannix would have been very familiar with using dirty methods to get what he wanted. He had grown up with Bugsy Siegel and was said to have connections with LA mobster Mickey Cohen. Eddie
he was a connected guy. He was a connected guy who was an executive at MGM Studios, allowing his wife to bang whoever she wanted while encouraging it. And having his yeah.
Also, I think that one of the conspiracy theories here is going to be that Mannix is William Bliss.
Ooh, that's good, but no.
Well, listen, I'm starting that conspiracy theory now.
However, there is a connection there, and that some people believe Bliss was working for Mannix. But I love that you remembered the names. I really struggled
This
with
is fake.
I really struggled with hoping you guys would remember the names because they were going to be prevalent parts of this. But
I know
there's
Bugsy
more.
Siegel.
Yeah, there's more.
was even thought to have had his first wife killed in 1937 in
Supposedly, Tony was Eddie's second wife. His first wife died in a car crash, and it is widely believed Eddie didn't mind killing someone when he needed to.
That's
And supposedly-
how everybody got rid of their significant others back in the 1950s.
In the
This is
50s,
very
sure.
normal.
That's how my dad got rid of his first wife.
a car accident.
For nearly a decade, Tony spoiled George. She gave him everything. The house he died in, hers. The car, hers. The
You hear that? She was funding his lifestyle for nearly a decade, for 8 years. But you know what? She didn't have a job. That was Eddie's money that bought him a house, bought him a car, and paid his bills. We following?
That
It
is the
sounds like
complication.
a good deal if you can get it.
I gotta wonder. I mean, Kaylee asked about his penis earlier. I have to assume it was impressive.
wardrobe, hers. She set him up like a king. Then, 4 months before he died, he dumped her for Lenore. Tony didn't take it well, and that's putting it lightly. She locked herself away, cried for weeks, called George up to 20 times a day. So here's the question.
Wait, I'm sorry, Luigi. You're thinking that he has a great dick because of this story? To me, this sounds like Lenore is magical in her hoo-ha area.
Whatever. But I would think that being great in the hoo-ha area means I'm not going to get any additional gifts like a new house and a car.
Yeah, he's saying I'll give all that up for Lenore, right?
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Tony. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
He's saying
now
I don't
I'm
even want all this
following.
awesome stuff. Tony has been a great resource for sex, money, I assume drugs. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But
Probably.
it seems like it makes sense in 1959 Hollywood. So he is saying, Reeves is like, I don't need any of that stuff. Lenore has everything that I need with her magic vagina. That is what I'm
All
hearing
right.
with the story.
You know what? I could follow along. I can't imagine being in a position where I'm like, look, thanks for the house. Thanks for the car. Thanks for the decade of paying my bills and putting clothes on me. If you could experience this woman snatch, I'd give it all up.
Yeah, he's
But
giving
he's
up a
also
lot.
like under the thumb of a mobster in that other
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
potato.
So let's see. So he breaks up with Tony, and apparently Tony does not take it well and has somewhat of a breakdown. She becomes a jealous ex-girlfriend, calls him 20 times a day. He locks herself away. Don't forget, she still lives with Eddie. Eddie's experiencing Tony have a breakdown.
Did her broken heart turn deadly? There are whispers, and some insiders say, yes, Tony was involved. Years later, the actress who played the original Lois Lane spoke out. She told the authors of Hollywood Kryptonite about a chilling phone call at 4:30 in the morning the day George died. It was Toni Mannix, panicked, hysterical. She was hyperventilating. She said, "The boy is dead. He's been murdered."
So the woman who played Lois Lane gets a phone call the day that George dies from Tony saying they killed him. Now, of course, that means nothing. It's complete hearsay, but it's interesting.
But how did she know so fast? The news hadn't broken yet, so was she there, or did she know someone who was? Hollywood knew all about Tony and George. They were an open secret. And here's the thing. Her husband, Eddie, didn't care. He had his own women. They even double dated, took trips together. But if you humiliated Tony, you had a problem.
So that goes back to what I'm saying, where he's now having to deal with Tony and her heartbreak. And we're going to learn that it goes pretty deep, that she might have really had a severe mental breakdown after that happened.
And Eddie had a temper. Superman dumping your wife? That's not a good look for a studio heavyweight. So maybe Eddie didn't just get mad, he got even.
Author E.J. Fleming details that George survived a series of suspicious accidents in the months before his death.
Now, this is going to get really fucking wacky.
I just want to back up to the theory that the Hollywood studio muscle guy is saying that the guy that his wife is sleeping with on the side, dumping her, is a bad look for him. That's a weird.
It is weird
way to process that.
It is weird
conviction,
but I do get it in the fact that he's sharing living space with her, and we're going to hear a little bit more about how basically you're living with a woman who's just like just running around, acting wacky and crazy and crying and having this full nervous breakdown. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" She's like, "I want him dead." He's like, "Fine." You know?
Yeah. But it's like the fact that your wife's cheating on you, that's the bad look. The guy that's cheating, that your wife is cheating with, dumping her, that's a good thing for you.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. It seems kind of backwards. Yeah.
To me, this sounds more like the predecessor to the polyamorous relationship, right? They both had their side pieces. They both were doing vacations. They were doing some swinging. They were having a wonderful, happy, healthy sex life that they really enjoyed. The problem with that is probably when it came to the quote humiliation of Tony. And because Eddie loved her so much, he would never want to see her get hurt, even if that was by one of her other partners. In addition to that, it sounds like all that money was coming out. And I suspect that a big problem in a lot of polyamorous relationships is that, if a guy is buying some other girl roses and that's coming from a joint bank account, that's coming from the girl's money too. I don't think it always has to do with sex. I think it has to do with money, because money is the ruler of everything.
That's exactly what I said a little while ago. I was like, that was Eddie's money. She didn't have a job. Tony didn't do anything.
Was there?
And I'm with Kaylee. Kaylee knows. I totally agree with that. And it is, it's a weird thing.
Naked when he died.
At penis out.
Which would jive with Eddie's modus operandi. In April, for instance, George...
Remember when he died? It was June.
10 days before their wedding
3 days.
date.
3 days before that.
I tried.
So in April, something really weird happened.
was in a horrific car accident on the street
Hack-a-mania.
he lived on. He crashed into a cement pole and was partially ejected through his windshield.
I'm sorry, this
resulting
was
in a-
Eddie or this was
This
Reeves?
is George. This is Reeves 2 months before he died.
And I'm going to guess that this car crash was quite similar to Eddie's first wife's car crash.
Let's hear.
days-long hospitalization. A mechanic found George's car had its brake fluid seemingly drained.
2 months before his death, his brakes are drained.
One unverified story featured
Now I want to make this clear that this is unverified. I want to make that very clear. This might be urban legend, but supposedly it's strong enough to have been written in a couple of books.
a young boy attending a Superman appearance with a loaded gun, hoping to see if bullets really did bounce off his hero.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that kid. Are you kidding me?
So
That kid's a fucking
supposedly,
genius.
supposedly, I mean, these are just some of the weird things that were going on, unverified, of course, that he was doing one of those appearances that we talked about, and a kid shows up with a loaded revolver and points it at him and says, "I want to see the bullets bounce off of you."
This is like Lois Lane throwing herself out a window in
Yeah,
Superman
yeah.
4 or whatever. It's like, prove
Dude,
that
that
you're
kid,
not
that kid
Superman.
is 100% still alive, and I would like to talk to him. I
According
am
to the
very
story,
curious.
Reeves quickly explained to the boy that while the bullets would indeed bounce off of him, they would then ricochet into the crowd and take down innocent bystanders.
Yes, I see Tony in the chat, and he says that this was a great scene in the movie Hollywoodland. It is. It's tense. It is really tense. Like, you see, like, Ben Affleck standing there, and there's this kid just pointing a gun at him, and like you see like just fear in his eyes. That is a good movie. Actually, I need to watch it again.
The fib worked, and the boy was disarmed. Some sources claim the gun that killed Reeves,
Tackle the
along
fucking kid.
He just apparently, and again, we don't know that any of that's true, but supposedly he just talked the kid out of it and said, "Give me the gun," and he gave him the gun. But there's also some
Boo.
kind of, also another unverified link to the story that supposedly the gun was purchased by Eddie.
to Eddie, though the police stated Reeves had bought the gun. Unfortunately, the gun ended up being less helpful than it could have been in the investigation. The firearm had recently been oiled and did not retain any fingerprints.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the part where I was just telling you, Andy, that they recreate how they think this worked out with the positioning of the gun. So here we
Out
go.
comes the red
The absence
string.
of powder burns raises a question in a lot of people's minds because most people have a misconception about powder burns. They believe that powder burns happen when a weapon is placed up against the skin. That's not the case.
Jim
When the weapon-
Beaver is from Supernatural.
That's funny.
He's
I can't
he's
believe
from Deadwood.
He's an actor. Yeah, he's an actor. And he is a George Reeves biographer.
And it turns out a gunpowder expert.
Yes. So what he's saying is that there is a misconception about gunpowder when it's placed up, when the gun barrel is placed up to your head. And that is that there usually isn't any gunpowder around the entry wound. It's inside the entry wound, which I got to say does make a little bit of sense.
is placed against the skin, the powder goes into the wound and does not burn the outside of the skin. The police found no evidence of fingerprints on the weapon. George was a gun collector, and he kept his weapons well oiled. Well, a thick coat of oil won't hold fingerprints any more than water will.
So Jim Beaver is of the mind that it was just a simple suicide and that there isn't much else to the story. And he demonstrates it.
Okay, take it.
Like I did.
Perhaps
Yes, like you did, but
Yay.
way less sexy.
the most difficult fact to explain is how the shell casing
Is he
got under the
naked?
body.
He is naked.
The 30 caliber Luger is designed
Okay,
to eject.
look, okay.
You weren't, so less sexy.
I'll do a side-by-side comparison and give you my honest judgment. So he is now demonstrating how the bullet ejects from the gun and what might explain how it landed behind him.
Shell upwards and away from the shooter. Most people think that couldn't put the shell behind him. However, if the gun was fired this way, it would eject the shell downward, for example.
According to
He killed a cameraman that day.
Yeah.
He did not tell them. He did not warn them before that.
Hell of a way to prove a point.
So, so here are the wounds, and then he's going to demonstrate the
the
placement.
autopsy report, the bullet entered Reeves' head about 1 inch above his right ear. It exited about 1 3/4 of an inch above the left ear, then lodged in the ceiling. The bullet trajectory suggests that Reeves' head was tilted when the gun was fired. Consequently, he may have held a gun in an odd position.
If George had held the gun not this way, but in this way, the more comfortable and natural
Yeah, this
position,
is actually
he would
more
have ejected
comfortable.
the shell directly behind him,
Giving me an idea.
onto the bed.
Casting
So that's what he's saying, is that if it was held that way as opposed to pinky down, instead pinky up,
Like a
the-
lady.
Yeah.
like a classy lady,
Oh, this is pinky up. This is the
right?
And this
Right.
is, I mean, you don't have to rotate your wrist. It's more. This is
It's-
definitely a more comfortable way to kill yourself.
It seems more practical, right?
Yeah.
And he says that if you do that with the slightest of angle of the, of the bullet ejecting out, with the slightest angle, facing towards his back, that it would have ejected behind him into the bed where he fell on it.
Yeah.
So that's his theory.
doubt on
Plausible.
the murder
Sorry, I just said plausible. That's it.
Oh, sorry.
theory is the fact that the bedroom upstairs reportedly had no windows, meaning an assassin would have had to sneak past the 4 people downstairs to get to their target.
Here's a layout of the house. The room had
Yeah.
no windows. So that also
What kind of a trash house is this that Tony
That's-
bought him? Or
that's what
bedroom
I
with no
thought.
windows? Fuck that, dude.
a bedroom in
closet.
LA.
We're
A
describing
bedroom in
a
LA with
closet.
no windows. Yes. And I was like, that's exactly what I thought, actually. I was like, what a crappy bedroom. But yes, it had no windows. That also led police to suggest that it was suicide, because they thought there was just no plausible way for someone to have gone up there, hidden up there, gotten past all 4 people there.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
That-
William Bliss is Eddie Maddox. I'm right.
Unless
Or it was, somebody from the Legion of Doom. That's not an assassin.
yes. Shit, I can't
It
even
was
think.
Solomon Grundy.
Who's the guy who can change in anything? I forget. Anyway,
Wait, okay. Sorry. I'm looking at this thing. So he
Okay.
was in George's master bedroom when he died.
right.
Okay.
The red.
So
at
first
the
of all,
top.
that is an insane fucking room to not have windows in. Let's talk about
That
that.
is.
First of all,
That's
And
huge
second of all,
too, right?
That appears to be a chimney that leads into it. If I
So
am to
Santa
trust
Claus did
this
it.
bullshit. Yeah, I know that it's June, but maybe.
Jeff wants you to know that it's Metamorpho.
Metamorpho. That's who it was. Thank you, Jeff. I couldn't think. Or Martian Manhunter. Oh, okay, that's a good one too. Yes, I was thinking of Metamorpho though. Okay, so actually, back to Kaylee's point. I know you're joking, but there is a theory that there was a hitman waiting in the room, and that William Bliss was in on it, insisted on being the only one up there, and somehow helped this other hitman escape. That's a theory, but we really don't have much to prove that. But
I also just really hate this mock-up of this house because that is clearly a window into that bedroom. We're looking at the red,
In the back.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a window in that room. I'm looking
see,
at the
I would
window.
I think it's a skylight.
Sure. It's in
that's
the roof.
a window.
It's a roof.
All
A
right.
skylight is a form
Skylight.
of window. Kleenex
Sure.
and tissue,
Oh, wait,
baby.
no. Semantics.
Beef Strippins also
Yes.
said Clayface. That's a good one too. Okay, Clayface. The Clayface is probably the one I should have gone with. You're
Yes, Clayface.
right.
Some people point to William Bliss's appearance as being suspicious
Oh,
I knew
for
it.
this reason. Perhaps Bliss, who, recall, was essentially unknown to Reeves, but nevertheless at his house at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday, was used as a distraction while a second man went upstairs to kill Reeves. This would also explain why Bliss was the one to dash upstairs after hearing the gunshot, despite being the one least connected to the actor.
Remember, he was a stranger. He was a total stranger, but he's the one who goes and tries to see a naked man.
No,
see
no.
that he's okay.
Okay, allegedly they did not know that he was naked. Also, if I'm
I
the
know,
stranger, I'm absolutely running up the stairs. That is a
I
really,
know.
really bad source of logic. If I am the potential grieving fiance, I am not going to be the first person to run up the stairs when I hear a gunshot. That absolutely is going to be the person who knows everybody the least. That is a dumb theory. I hated that.
Okay.
No.
Well, I do
Disagree.
agree with you. It's a dumb theory. I do agree, because I don't know how they would have gotten a second person out of there. But I will say that the whole thing about the stranger running up
Yes.
there, I will admit that just catches my ear in a way where I'm like, it's a little odd, but I don't have anything to add to it. It just seems odd. But
Years later, someone close to Tony came.
now, remember when I was talking about Tony having her mental breakdown and Eddie having to live with it?
Women, am I right?
Yeah. Women on International Women's Day.
Motherfuckers.
Here we go. Listen to this.
Forward with a story that gave those old rumors new life. In the late 70s, a Beverly Hills publicist became close friends with Tony. By then, she was a widow in her 70s, alone, frail, still obsessed with George. According to this source, she never let go. Her closets still packed with George's clothes. She kept his razors, his cologne, even built an altar in the house.
She had an altar made to George Reeves while she's in her 70s and maintained all of his clothes, his razors, his used tampons. Call back. Nobody,
Well,
nothing? Come on.
No, I hate it. I hate it. It was too
Yeah.
vivid an image, Luigi. I don't like it.
Folks, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. My last episode.
Candles, a
Gross.
Oh yeah, and let me tell everyone who's in chat who saw it that afterward I sent pictures of tampons. I forgot about that. I sent pictures of tampons to Andy and Kaylee with googly eyes on them. I forgot about that.
Go watch it.
crucifix, and a giant photo of George Reeves watching over it all. But the real bombshell came at the very end. Tony's health was failing, and one night, this source says he was by her side, holding her hand as she confessed to her priest that she and her husband, Eddie Mannix, had George Reeves killed.
Before she dies, she confesses that she and Eddie killed George Reeves. Now, of course, those are only words. That is not evidence of anything, except legally, a dying declaration of a crime is considered a fact in most states. Do you know that?
I cannot wait until I'm on my deathbed. I'm going to confess to so much stuff. I'm
I
going to have
know.
like a whole planned out list. It's going to be awesome.
I'm going to say, you're never going to find the gold.
I'll find that motherfucking gold. You don't think that I know how to do that as a Jewish lady over here? Come on. I'm ready, bitch.
I don't like seeing Superman in a pair of slacks like this.
It seems
It's pretty
weird, right?
off-putting.
This looks like this might be gay porn. Maybe.
Why confess now? Because she didn't want to go to hell. But there's another person who was right there the night he died, and some say she had the most to lose.
Who are we guessing?
Wait, what's the question?
Lemon.
Lemon.
His fiancée,
The question was who had more to lose by George dying.
Lenore Lemon, a twice-divorced New York socialite with a reputation, a wild one.
Twice
known for
divorced.
drinking.
I know. I feel
Yeah.
Aimless.
I feel so seen right now. Holy shit.
They really do kind of.
A
Guilty,
twice divorced woman
guilty. Guilt.
with a reputation. Fuck, man. Shit.
They're really painting her as a floozy and like low life by saying
like this.
she
Yes,
drank,
go
stayed
on.
out late
On
hours.
International fucking Women's Day, you would bombard me with this bullshit? Are you goddamn kidding me? This is an attack.
We're not talking about
I'm
Kaylee?
William Bliss, all of you.
She's gonna fake all of our deaths and make it look like suicides.
Wait till that deathbed confession. Confession. You have no idea, man.
Here you go.
Fighting and chasing the next big party. The tabloids called her a gold digger. Friends called her.
I know I'm Jewish, but shut
Right?
up.
A gold hoarder.
After the shooting, Lenore took off for New York, gone for good, with $4,000 in traveler's checks from George's wallet. Checks he'd supposedly bought for a honeymoon in Mexico, except no one else knew about this trip.
You hear that? So she goes and raids his wallet of $4,000 of traveler's checks that he had and
He won't be
runs away to New York.
What is he gonna do? Use them? He doesn't.
Well,
need
I
these
guess it's
anymore.
true. And they technically are hers. Well, I guess they're not hers. No, they're not hers because they weren't married yet. Yeah.
Trip. According to author Jim Nolt, the night he died, George got fed up, he kicked the guests out and went upstairs. Nolt thinks that set Lenore off. They got into an argument. George told her the wedding was off. She got angry, grabbed the gun,
He pulled his pants off and got naked.
and then accidentally pulled the trigger. Then the people in the house came up with a story for the cops. She lived the rest of her life in New York and died in 1989. But before she passed, she spoke to a young reporter and dropped one last bombshell. She claimed the whole story about her predicting
looks like a
George's
gay
suicide from the living room that night was made up.
So you remember the whole thing about her predicting his suicide?
Yes.
Supposedly, she says, I never said that. But everyone testified to it. I don't really have any explanation. Just seems very, very odd that everyone had the exact same story, but then she says, no, it didn't happen.
Well, obviously, it's the most damning piece of evidence of everybody saying, "Yeah, you said that." What's she gonna say? Oh, yeah, I definitely did.
Maybe, but she's now about to die. Doesn't seem it would serve her well, but whatever.
According to her, William Bliss came up with it. So, what's the truth? Was she covering for someone or trying to clear her own name before?
Did you hear that? William Bliss is the one who came up with the story. William Bliss is the one that said she predicted that he was going to kill himself. So I have to say that's pretty odd. Again, the stranger, the guy that nobody knew, tells this story and it takes off and gets a life of its own.
I'm just
For the
saying that
end.
I think it's Eddie.
I'm just saying that if I turn up dead, it's probably Kaylee.
If
How
I
many
turn up
dollars
dead,
do you have that I can steal?
if I turn up dead, it's
$400
some
in
woman in my life.
traveler's checks out the ass
dude.
over here.
I'm
That's
in,
funny.
baby. Let's go.
We need to make this movie, and like William Bliss is obviously that big fat bloated Eddie Mannix in a wig, in a bad wig, and it's just like, yeah, I'm William Bliss, because that does sound like a made up name.
One thing's for
Gay
sure.
porn.
Many of George's friends and family never believed he took his own life. They say he had no reason to. In the 1950s, George Reeves was Superman, the Man of Steel, a household name. He made 100 episodes at $2,500 a pop. Pretty decent money for a guy who only auditioned for what he thought was a low-budget throwaway role. The show was filmed fast and dirty, sometimes 5 episodes in a single day, but it took off. And before that, George had been so broke he was digging septic tanks just to get by.
So this is a
He
guy
loves
who was
digging
not
in the dirt, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And he was not a guy who was used to wealth. And then he starts dating this woman who is older than him, likes keeping him around, probably just, makes him eat or snatch a couple times a week and gives him a house for it. Who would turn that down?
Don't be gross, Luigi.
Of course not. Why would I ever?
On International Women's Day of all days. Have a little respect.
That house was worse than the septic tanks. No bedroom windows. Shut up.
And then gives him a car, then pays his bills,
Yeah, but it was
and
probably
goes
a
takes
crappy
him
car too. Ugh.
takes him on vacations. And I mean, who wouldn't pass that up? And then he decides to break away, have a life of his own, and then dies. It's a crazy story.
Yeah.
Superman changed everything until it didn't. After the show ended, the cape became a curse. Casting directors stopped calling. He was typecast, stuck in a role he couldn't escape. And that's why, according to Lenore Lemon, he pulled the trigger. She told reporters George was depressed, washed up with no future. But was he really?
Supposedly, he was actually in line to play the inspector in Psycho with Alfred Hitchcock. Don't know that that's true. Again, unverified. But supposedly he had a lot of prospects or prospective jobs in his future. And so that's where people have argued that to say that he was depressed over his job wasn't right. But again, it's all speculative.
He'd never buy a drink, for the rest of his life. Everywhere you go, somebody would be like, "Hey, it's Superman. I want to hang out with him." It's not a bad. It's not artistically fulfilling, right? That's not being typecast, but it's not a bad way to go through the rest of your life being known as Superman, for fuck's sake.
But supposedly, the way that it was painted by the people who suggested the suicide theory, the way it was painted was that he couldn't get any work and that he was, getting turned down by people who were saying, "Oh, yeah, I can't hire you. You're Superman." And I just don't think that was the case based on what, specific examples provided in research and other books. But again, it's subjective. We'll just never know.
I also think that that's kind of moot. Again, he left Tony in order to go be with Lenore, right? And that means that he was giving up all this money, all this class, all this pussy, all this whatever the hell she was giving him because he loved Lenore that much. And I don't think that most men who fall deeply in love and only 6 months later they're probably still deeply in love. It probably doesn't matter what's happening with their career. Like, honestly,
it's fair.
It probably just does not matter. I think that that's entirely moot. He was probably still in the honeymoon phase with Lenore and enjoying the heck out of that relationship. Even if they were a little salty, it kind of sounded like she was a bitch in the beginning of the story. But, you don't leave somebody like Tony in order to get with Lenore unless Lenore has magic pussy. So,
and we don't know that she didn't.
I'm
she might have had magic pussy.
Did. I'm assuming that she did. And therefore, I assume his life was pretty fucking great.
I wish there was a way to combine the magic pussy with the money and the free house and the car.
Well, okay, so then again, I think that the work stuff is moot. I think that most men would choose happy sex life over happy work life. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong about that. But if the work stuff is true and he did have all of these prospects, then that means that he both had magic pussy, work prospects, which means money prospects. So he had a very, very profitable life, suggesting that Lenore's pussy was as great as I am assuming as it is.
Let's talk more about pussy.
Yes. You're welcome.
That's the next episode. So here we go. Not much more to go. Just summing up the story or just wrapping up the story.
Why would Superman kill himself? Jack Larson believes that Reeves was despondent over his lack of work.
So I was depressed and
So this is the original Jimmy Olsen, who says he believes that Reeves was depressed.
accepted instantly that he had committed suicide.
Others say he had plans, big ones. He was working on a live wrestling tour, tapping into his real-life background as a champion college wrestler. He was even scheduled to appear in an exhibition boxing match in San Diego the very next day. He'd already directed several Superman episodes and was pushing to land more work behind the camera. He wasn't talking about endings. He was talking about next steps. So, what really happened that night in Benedict Canyon? Did he take his own life, or did someone else pull the trigger?
There is evidence to support all three theories about his death. I think there is evidence to support suicide. There is evidence to support tragic accident, and there is evidence to support murder. The only people who know are no longer with us.
And there you have it, folks. So let me take a poll here. Kaylee,
Okay.
what do you think? Honestly.
Before we give our answers, first of all, I want to see everybody in the chat giving their answers too.
Okay.
Andy and I definitely have to give our answers about what we think.
Oh, wait. Before we even do that, can we read? I think we got a couple more super chats. Let's read those and
that was
then.
exactly where I was going.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yeah. Somebody read these. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Carl 0967. Thanks for the 2. Luigi Greenberg. Gay.
Carl.
Hit the
I
like
blocked
button
you.
if you think hit the like button if you think Luigi's gay.
Damn it. I have to.
Carl.
Fior Grimaldi 4120. Thanks for the 5. Kaylee, I sent you a video of Tony saying he still hasn't forgiven you for reviewing Dumb and Dumber 2. He's such a crybaby. Hyped for Girls Month.
Listen, Tony from Hack the Movies can suck a dick. Also, I thought that I responded to you. Maybe my message didn't send. You sent me a video that I couldn't hear any audio on. So I'm glad to know what it actually said. Stupid Tony. I'll never forgive him for that
It's
bullshit.
Tony's fault.
I'll never forgive him.
I think there was one more, wasn't there?
Was there? Did I miss something? Boop, boop, boop. Oh, yes, you are correct.
Tex Hula for 5. George Reeves, Christopher Reeves. If you play Superman with the last name Reeves, you're fucked. Happy International Women's Day.
And it truly is a happy International Women's Day today.
The happiest. I know one woman who is super happy over on Point Dabble Point. Happy to meet me.
I am going to say that I have been getting some updates about Stuttering John's live stream right now. We are going to make our predictions about Reeves, and we're going to say what we think if he got murdered or if he went to Greenland or whatever the heck he did. But I am getting updates about what's happening on Stuttering John right now, which is that Carl is back to being great.
Because he attacked Keanu?
Yes. Stuttering John is calling Keanu a whore and praising Carl.
Praising Carl?
Yeah. And also, I am no better than Keanu because I am just a sex worker. And also, Ava is standing up to him. Completely unrelated to Keanu. So there is going to be a lot to talk about in the Dabbleverse. But instead of talking about the Dabbleverse, let's figure out.
That's not what we do over here.
Andy, what do you think? What do you think about this one? Tell me what your conspiracy theories are.
I feel that the Bliss guy, like somebody being up in the room and it being a tag team type of setup seems like it has to be the case. That William Bliss guy was kind of working with the Hollywood muscle.
Okay.
That's my theory. I mean, I don't have a well worked out scenario, but that's my.
I'll wait while you write one down.
No, but that seems most plausible to me. But.
All right, I got one. I'm going to fill in the blanks where Andy can't do it. I'm still going with Eddie Maddox is William Bliss, and because he has such powerful connections.
You think it's the same guy?
Yeah, he has such powerful connections that he was able to trick everybody into thinking that he was not a guy named William Bliss. I mean, not a guy named Eddie Maddox. He is the same guy. He made everything up. Everything is fake. But I always think that a woman has to be involved because women are the devil. So I think that Tony was the second man in the room, in the windowless room. And I think that the two of them did it together. I think the deathbed confession was true. Murder.
Most foul.
Pretty
Luigi,
good.
what do you think?
I think it was aliens. Aliens came down
God damn it,
This
Luigi's
is all
right on
your
it.
idea.
You know, I gotta say, ultimately, I think it was suicide, but I just can't get those other facts out of my mind. I think ultimately I would come to the conclusion, all right, there's enough evidence here to suggest that.
all of the things that go along with suicide that were not present in the scenario, that doesn't dissuade you from the suicide theory.
No. It absolutely does. I'm saying that if I have to pick one, I'm going to have to say 51% suicide. Only if I have to pick a side.
You are a skeptic. So.
Yeah, like everything, all of those other scenarios they're intriguing. They're very intriguing, but there's no evidence to link them. So,
yeah.
I'm throwing up some chats here. We got a lot of theories in the chats.
I noticed that too, Calvertons. That was pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
You look terrible.
What's Sean say here? I can't read that one.
You're not showing...
Alien? Does it say alien also? God damn it.
No, it says my theory. George, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, George Reeves really was Superman and knew he was going to be exposed as an alien. He faked his death.
Oh, yes.
The bullet went into the ceiling after ricocheting off of the skin on his head. I noticed you're not showing the one of Carl saying that he agrees with me, but okay.
Wait, where's that?
It's right under the super chat, which you should also show.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that. I have not gotten to that one yet. I'm still way up above that.
Oh, okay.
Lois Lane Day murdered.
You're gonna be a
Killed him.
murderer.
Nice. I got tricked by piss wife. Oh no. A woman did it. It's always a woman's fault.
By the way, just real quick, I laughed out loud when there was a super tip on PDP today that said, "You're a horrible human being, piss face."
Piss face is really catching on. Better than
Shit-faced,
which is
shit-faced
crazy.
and piss-face. That's their new show with Gino.
Keanu is so much better.
I literally laughed out loud. That one definitely made me laugh.
All right, here's we agree with Trucker Andy over here because we're gay.
We're gay together, gay.
Yeah.
All
right, we do have one more super chat.
Yes, Geary Rex work thanks for the 2 punk pajamas pizza party. Kaylee earworm.
I got my pajamas on.
Her period pants.
Listen, I've been sick and I feel like shit, and I'm gonna fall asleep like immediately when we're done here. You guys, Luigi,
don't let us keep you.
This was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, I
never
do
like this one.
Super fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also, let me just say real quick, I skipped a lot of stuff about George Reeves' life. His life was pretty interesting too. He was born in Kentucky or Iowa. Shit.
Been with
so interesting
name stuff after you just killed it.
Well, no, I know.
Now we're gonna bring up the stuff I cut. What are you doing?
This is interesting. This part's interesting. So he had a stepfather that he really admired and took his name, really admired him, and then one day his mom picks him up from school and says, "Hey, your stepdad died. Well, time for dinner," and just moves on, and just gives him nothing to remember him by, no funeral, nothing, just says he died. And then about 20 years later, he's helping his mother clean out her attic, and he finds a picture of his stepfather and just says, "Wow, I haven't really seen anything. You kind of got rid of everything that with his face on it." And she goes, "I told you he died. We just broke up, right?" He loved this man and thought he was dead and had no connection with him because he thought he was dead for 20 years and was told by his mom, he wasn't dead. I just didn't know how to tell you we broke up.
You should have led with Iowa.
Yeah, sorry. He lived a pretty interesting life.
I'm sorry,
boxer, wrestler.
That one, I think is what we're supposed to say here.
Don't open with
Amazing.
It took me a second. Sorry.
I think we should do, Andy was so wonderful to let us do plugs at the beginning of the show, but Andy, I think we should do plugs at the end of the show also. You want to let everybody know
Definitely.
where
More
you
plugs.
can be found and what's exciting?
Yes, I just changed the domain of the website to staysorry.com. So it's a little bit easier to type and find than allapologiespodcast.com. Forget all that. Staysorry.com. Find everything that I have going on. We just did an episode about Shia LaBeouf's interview meltdown. Luigi's getting wild over there. What do you you
I'm
found
just
a
saying
new
hi.
trick? Okay.
Hi. You want me to do the Thriller dance? I can do the Thriller dance.
You do it after my plugs. Okay. But yeah, go check out the Shia LaBeouf episode with Nelly that we did on Sunday, and then Thursday at 7:30, the poker game, all in on the Dabbleverse. We have 8, a bunch of people, streamers from the Dabbleverse come and talk shit and try and take each other's stakes, high stakes. So please tune in for that on Thursdays. Kaylee, what do you have going on?
You can find me on Once Over with Kaylee, Cayley, on YouTube and on Patreon. I don't know. I don't have anything planned. I'm very chaotic right now. It's great. Everything is wonderful. So just go subscribe over there, hit the notification bell so that you can find out what I'm doing, because sometimes it's movie reviews, sometimes it's other movie stuff, sometimes it's Dabbleverse stuff. You never know.
And Luigi.
LuigiGreenberg.com. Andy, I absolutely appreciated you trying to plug my YouTube channel. It is not Skeptical Robot. It is Luigi Greenberg on YouTube. My show is Skeptical Robot on Fridays. And this Friday, big announcement. Big announcement. Check us out. And
what time is
Tuesdays
that on Friday?
7 o'clock Eastern, I believe. I never really remember.
Oh my God, you sound as confident as I did this morning earlier in this episode. Jesus Christ.
7 Eastern. Also check me out Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Hack Ride Studios channel. Unboxing Eric, unboxing Riley Martin, and unboxing Bigfoot it is. And I think that's everything for me.
Yes, that's right. So, and I believe the next episode of Edge Files is going to be Kaylee's. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And originally we were going to do the 16th, but we might bump it to the 23rd. Again, subscribe to any of us on YouTube or on Twitter is the thing that's called. It's not called that anymore. To find out when the next episode is going to be, I think I am going to be doing Nikocado Avocado, which Andy inspired me to do. I think we're going to get into some really dirty, gross, disgusting stuff that is trolling and weirdness and excitement. So we'll see.
All
you know
the best things.
You know how to capture my interest.
Right. So until the
and Fatsos.
Fatsos. All right.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I interrupted
I'm a
you.
chubby chaser, so I'm here for it. So until the next episode of the Edge Files.
Keep